Hello there, and welcome back to Solomon's Treasury. I'm so glad you are here with me today. You know, we built this channel because we believe that true wealth isn't just about the numbers on a screen. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding the ancient laws that govern money, success, and life itself. Today, we are going to have a very honest, heart-to-heart conversation. We are tackling a subject that keeps millions of people awake at night. We're talking about the gap, you know the one. The gap between the life you want, the success you see others having, and the struggle you feel every single day. A lot of people look at their crumbling finances and think, why me? They start to believe that poverty is some kind of divine decree, that maybe God just decided they were meant to be poor, or that the universe is conspiring against them. But what if I told you that wasn't true? What if I told you that the Bible, specifically the wisdom of King Solomon, suggests that poverty isn't always a mystery? Sometimes it's a result of habits, actions, and decisions that we make. Often without even realizing, we are breaking a fundamental law. In other words, your struggle might not be a curse. It might just be that you aren't reading the instruction manual correctly. Today, we are going to walk through 5 specific behaviors, 5 poverty traps that the Bible warns us about. If you can identify these and remove them from your life, you stop the bleeding, you stop the struggle, and you start building. So get comfortable, maybe grab a notebook, and let's dive into the wisdom of the wealthiest man who ever lived. Let's start with the big one, the one that feels so normal in our society that we don't even question it anymore: debt. King Solomon was brutal in his honesty about this. In the Book of Proverbs, he wrote, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." Now pause for a second. Let that word sink in. Slave. We don't like to use that word. It feels heavy. We think of chains, cages, and forced labor. So when we swipe a credit card for a dinner we can't afford, or sign a 7-year loan for a car that's way out of our budget, we don't feel like slaves. We feel like consumers. We feel empowered. But Solomon is telling us to look closer. This slavery starts innocently. It's a subordination. It's a situation where your time no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the bank. When you wake up on Monday morning, you aren't going to work to build your dream. You are going to work to pay for the past. You are working for the entity that lent you the money. You become a servant to the institution. And the scary part, it happens so slowly you don't realize you're trapped until you stop moving. You find yourself in the red, living a life of payments, feeling that crushing weight on your chest, not knowing how to get out. You are effectively working for someone else's profit, not your own. To really understand why debt is so destructive, we have to look at the original language of the Bible, Hebrew. The Hebrew language paints pictures with words. There are 2 main words used for interest in the Bible. The first one is fascinating. It's called Neshek. Neshek literally translates to a bite, like a snake bite. Think about the mechanics of a snake bite for a second. When a serpent bites you, you feel a small prick. It's not a cannonball, it's a small puncture. You might look at it and say, "Oh, that's not so bad, I can handle that." But what happens next? The venom spreads. The wound gets inflamed, it swells, it starts to consume the healthy tissue around it. That is exactly what interest does to your finances. When you take out a loan, the bite seems manageable. It's just a small monthly payment, you tell yourself. But interest is a wound that refuses to heal. Why? Because often you are making payments, but the principal amount, the actual money you borrowed, barely moves. It stays intact. You are just feeding the interest. You are bleeding money every single month just to keep the wound open. It's a bite that keeps on hurting, draining your resources, your energy, and your future. The second word the Bible uses for interest is tarbit. While Neshek, the bite, is what happens to you, the borrower, tarbit is what happens to the lender. Tarbit means increase or multiplication. This describes the reality of the person or the bank on the other side of the table. While you are suffering from the bite, they are enjoying the increase. They are watching their money grow effortlessly off of your hard work. Whether it's a massive bank, a predatory loan shark, or a credit card company, the system is designed for their increase, not yours. Economists know this. They know that high-interest consumer debt is a wealth destroyer for the individual and a wealth creator for the institution. If you are constantly borrowing, especially for depreciating things like vacations, clothes, or cars, you are voluntarily entering a cycle where you decrease so they can increase. So the first step to leaving poverty behind is to stop the bleeding. Stop the bite. You have to decide right now that you will do everything in your power to live within your means. If you don't have the money, you don't buy it. It sounds simple, but it is the hardest and most important step to freedom. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this deep dive into ancient wisdom, do me a small favor and hit that follow or subscribe button right now. We are just getting started, and you won't want to miss the next chapters. All right, let's move to the second act of this tragedy, or hopefully this triumph. It's found in Proverbs again, where Solomon observes, "In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has." Let's break down the foolish man. Solomon isn't saying this man is stupid in terms of IQ. He's saying he is foolish in his behavior. What does the fool do? He devours all he has. Imagine a guy, let's call him Mike. Mike gets his paycheck on Friday. By the next Friday, every single cent is gone. Maybe he paid bills, maybe he bought pizza, maybe he got a new gadget. It doesn't matter what he bought. The point is, the account is at zero. He consumed everything. Now compare that to the wise person. The wise person has oil and food stored up. In biblical times, olive oil and grain were currency. They were survival. Today, we're talking about a savings account. We're talking about an emergency fund. The biblical definition of financial wisdom involves having a buffer. It involves not eating everything you kill. Why is this storage so critical? Because of a little thing called life. In the Book of Ecclesiastes, we learn that time and chance happen to them all. This is a polite way of saying, stuff happens. You cannot predict the future, but you can predict that the future will be unpredictable. We all have what we call unforeseen events. A tooth breaks, and you need a dentist. The transmission in your car blows up, the roof starts leaking, or God forbid, you lose your job. These aren't just possibilities. Over a long enough timeline, they are certainties. The person who devours everything, the fool, lives in a fragile glass house. When these events hit, he shatters. He has no oil. He has no food stored. So, what does he do? He runs back to chapter 1. He borrows. He takes the bite. He becomes a slave again. It's a vicious cycle. The lack of savings is the gateway drug to debt. But here is the beautiful flip side. Having oil in the house isn't just about surviving disasters. It's about seizing joy. Sometimes the unexpected is actually good. Maybe your best friend announces a destination wedding. Maybe your child gets into a prestigious university that costs a bit more. Maybe a piece of land goes for sale at half price, but you need cash now. The wise person, the one with the storehouse, can look at these situations and say, yes, they can pay for the wedding, the college, the investment. They have freedom. The fool has to say no, or worse, borrow money to participate, digging the hole deeper. So the lesson here is about preparation. It's about understanding that saving money isn't hoarding. It's buying your own freedom. It's ensuring that when life throws a curveball, you can swing at it. I have a question for you, and be honest. If your car broke down today and cost $1,000 to fix, would you pay cash, or would you have to put it on a credit card? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's talk about the third path to poverty. This one is tricky because it appeals to our greed and our desperation. It's the desire to get rich quickly. We live in a microwave society. We want our food in 30 seconds, our movies on demand, and our millions by next Tuesday. But King Solomon, a man who had more gold than we can imagine, warned us in Proverbs 21:5, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." Look at that word, haste, rushing, being in a hurry. There is a spiritual and economic law that says if you try to shortcut the process, you will end up lost. When people feel the pressure of their struggles, they often look for a magic exit door. They stop looking for work and start looking for a scheme. Indeed, they want a miracle plan that changes their life overnight. Let's look at the modern world. How many times have you seen an ad on YouTube or Instagram with some guy standing in front of a rented mansion telling you he can teach you how to make $5,000 a day trading crypto or stocks from your phone? "Just buy my course," he says. "It's easy money." Let me put on my economist hat for a second. The statistics on this are terrifying. Did you know that over 90% of day traders lose money? In fact, many studies suggest it's closer to 97% over the long term. Most of the people attempting this get-rich-quick method are just transferring their savings into the pockets of the professionals and the brokers. I have personally known good, hard-working people who took their storehouse, their life savings, and gambled it away on a risky business venture or a hot stock tip because they were in a hurry. They didn't want to build slowly, they wanted to explode upward. Instead, they imploded. They ignored the requirement for diligence and planning, and they paid the ultimate price. If you need absolute proof that Solomon was right, just look at lottery winners. Winning the lottery is the ultimate dream, isn't it? Tens of millions of dollars dropping into your lap. No work required. Instant wealth. But the reality is a nightmare. Statistics show that a huge percentage, some say up to 90%, of lottery winners go broke within a few years. They end up in a worse financial situation than before they won. Why? Because wealth without wisdom is dangerous. As the Bible says, an inheritance gained quickly at the beginning will not be blessed at the end. If you haven't built the character, the discipline, and the knowledge to manage money, which comes from the slow, diligent process of earning it, the money will destroy you. It will grow wings and fly away. So if you want to be wealthy, stop trying to do it fast. Embrace the slow, boring, consistent climb. That is where the safety is. I want to hear your stories. Have you ever been tempted by a get-rich-quick scheme? Did you buy the course? Did you buy the crypto at the top? Tell me about your experience in the comments. We are now at number 4, and this is perhaps the most culturally relevant point for us today. It's about consumerism. Solomon writes, "He who loves pleasure will become a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not be rich." Now, don't get me wrong. The Bible isn't against enjoying life. Solomon himself enjoyed the finest things. The problem isn't the pleasure. The problem is the love of pleasure. It's the priority. It's when your desire for the good life outpaces your ability to pay for it. It's the person who needs the finest wine, the luxury car, the designer clothes, and the newest iPhone the day it comes out, but who has zero assets. It is harder today than ever before to follow this advice. Why? Because we are under attack. Every time you open your phone, you are bombarded by algorithms designed by the smartest people on earth with one goal: to separate you from your money. They sell you a narrative. They tell you that you need that new car to be respected. They tell you that your kitchen is ugly and you need to renovate it. They tell you that you aren't a real coffee lover unless you have that $500 machine. They create artificial needs. They make us feel less than if we don't have the latest stuff, and they make it so easy to give in. Click here to buy. Swipe here. Pay in 4 easy installments. They are greasing the slide into poverty. If you have no defense mechanism, you will consume your future wealth before you even earn it. So how do we fight this? We have to develop a critical spirit. When you see that ad, or when you see your neighbor pull up in a brand new SUV, you have to pause. You have to ask yourself, is this real? Is that product actually going to make me happy, or is it just a dopamine hit that will fade in 24 hours? Am I buying this because I need it, or because I'm trying to impress people I don't even like? The lover of pleasure acts on impulse. The wise builder acts on a plan. Solomon is telling us, if you want to be rich, you have to say no to pleasure today, so you can say yes to freedom tomorrow. You have to be willing to live like no one else now, so later you can live like no one else. Don't let the shiny objects distract you from the mission. Be honest with me. What is the last thing you bought because of an Instagram or TikTok ad that you totally regret now? I know I have a few. Share yours below. Finally, point number 5. We have to talk about laziness. But I don't just mean sitting on the couch watching TV. I mean something deeper, negligence. In Proverbs, Solomon paints a vivid picture. He walks by the field of a sluggard, a lazy person. And what does he see? Thorns have come up everywhere. The ground is covered with weeds. The stone wall is in ruins. And then he says this chilling line, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief. Notice the phrase, a little. Indeed, it doesn't happen all at once. It's a little neglect here, a little procrastination there. It's ignoring your business for a few days. It's not checking your bank statement. It's letting things slide. The Talmud, which contains centuries of Jewish wisdom, comments on this. It says that if you want to become poor, just buy a business and don't check on it. Hire workers and don't supervise them. We see this all the time. A business owner thinks he can just set it and forget it. He hires a manager and goes to play golf every day. He stops looking at the numbers. He stops innovating. And then he is shocked when the business collapses. How did this happen? He asks. It happened because of the folding of the hands. I once met a professional, a guy who was incredibly talented in his field. I asked him, why aren't you the market leader? He looked at me and said, honestly, I'm lazy. I know what I need to do to get to the next level, but I just don't want to do the work. At least he was honest. But that laziness was the ceiling on his wealth. The antidote to poverty is diligence. The Bible says, the hand of the diligent makes rich. It means being hands-on. It means knowing the details of your job, your investments, and your budget. It means showing up when you don't feel like it. And there is one more layer to this. Solomon also warns about the person who works hard, but works dishonestly. The person who scams, lies, or cheats to get ahead. They might win for a moment, but they forget that God is the ultimate provider. If you build your house on deception, you are building on sand. Eventually it will fall. True diligence is working hard and working right. Poverty isn't just about lack of money, it's about lack of character, lack of effort, and lack of attention. Is there an area of your life, maybe your finances, your career, or a side hustle, that you have been neglecting? Where have you been folding your hands? Let's talk about it in the comments. So, we have traveled through the Treasury. We've looked at the maps. What is the big takeaway here? The takeaway is that for the vast majority of us, our financial struggle is not a mystery. It's not a divine decree written in the stars that says, you shall struggle forever. No, it is a result of mechanics. If you stick your hand in a fire, you get burned. It's not personal, it's just the nature of fire. If you take on debt, the bite. If you spend everything you earn, the fool. If you chase quick riches, haste. If you buy things to impress others, love of pleasure. And if you neglect your work, the sluggard, you will be poor. It is the nature of the system. But here is the incredibly good news. Because these are behaviors, they are under your control. You have free will. You can wake up tomorrow and decide to change the script. You can cut up the credit cards. You can set up an automatic transfer of $50 to a savings account. You can stop looking for lottery tickets and start looking for skill-building courses. You can stop scrolling through shopping apps. You can show up to work 10 minutes early and work harder than anyone else. God has given us the blueprint. He wants us to succeed. He wants us to be the head and not the tail. But He requires us to walk in wisdom. When you align your life with these principles, Solomon's principles, you stop swimming upstream. You start moving with the current of God's blessing. It won't happen overnight. Remember, we aren't in a hurry. But step by step, stone by stone, you will build a fortress of wealth that will stand the test of time. You will move from struggling to succeeding. Thank you so much for investing your time with me today at Solomon's Treasury. If this video sparked something in you, if you had an aha moment, please support the channel. Like this video so the algorithm shares this wisdom with others who are struggling. Comment below. I read every single one. Tell me which of the 5 points hit closest to home for you. And most importantly, subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have so much more treasure to uncover together. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Until next time, walk in wisdom and build your treasury.